Hello, welcome back to our continuing discussions of React. This time we're going to look more closely at JavaScript JSX. So JFX is a JavaScript extension which is transpiled to JavaScript by Babel. So Babel. Babel is a free and open source JavaScript transpiler. So a transpiler is a piece of software that produces equivalent code in another programming language. So say you're a JavaScript front-end developer and you want to use the latest versions of JavaScript. You want to use modules, you want to use classes. You find that your code organization is better if you use these more modern structures. What's your constraint? Why can't you do that? Well, what is your user community? Your user community is the community of people who have browsers. And some of those browsers might be 5, 6, 7, 10 years old. Are they still part of your community? Do you want your JavaScript to be able to run on their computers? If the answer to that question is yes, then you can't use the latest versions of JavaScript, even though you find them very useful in terms of just software engineering. You've got to use really ES5 of JavaScript. Frustrating. So you can use Babel in your toolchain as a solution to this problem. So you write modern JavaScript, and then you put your JavaScript through a transpiler that produces a targeted version of JavaScript, let's say ES5. And not only that, since it's gone through an automated transpiler, it produces JavaScript that is proven to run in older browsers. That solves a big problem of yours. Now you can write code in modern JavaScript, but it gets transpiled in the build system, so what ultimately gets delivered to your user base is an older version of JavaScript, ES5. That's what Babel uses. It's a piece of software, open source, that transpiles modern JavaScript into older versions of JavaScript. Well, we don't have to build Babel into the React toolchain. It's already there. So when we write JavaScript JS files within a React system, it's already assumed that they're JSX files. They're JavaScript extension files, and they have the Babel interpreter automatically built in to the build system that in the end produces ES5. So React, although we see it, and you're saying, well, we're using the most modern JavaScript available in the React system. In the end, what gets delivered to our user base is ES5 of JavaScript. Happens automatically. So we're going to look more closely into JSX